Tory peer calls for Boris Johnson to be kicked out of the Tory party over burqa comment. Theresa May was last night under pressure to kick Boris Johnson out of the Tory parliamentary party over his controversial burqa comments. The ex-foreign secretary sparked a furious row after he compared women wearing the head veils to letterboxes and bank robbers. Tory peer Lord Sheikh, president of the Conservative Muslim Forum, yesterday wrote to party bosses demanding he is kicked out of the party, known as having the whip removed. He told the BBC One Newsnight programme that severe action must be taken against Mr. Johnson. He said, "Take the whip from him. Why not? He's not a superhuman being, he's a member of the party. The party chairman, the Prime Minister, has the right to take the whip. That's the thing I'd like to see." Mr. Johnson is facing huge pressure to apologize for his controversial remarks, made in his weekly Daily Telegraph column on Monday. The burqa and niqab have both been mired in controversy in the West, where politicians have warned that women are being forced to cover up. Here are some of the controversies surrounding the head coverings. Terror suspects have escaped surveillance by disguising themselves in burqas. Mohammed Ahmed Mohammed escaped surveillance by disguising himself as a woman in a burqa in November 2013. He went missing from a mosque in Acton, West London, after putting on the female covering. A trial was halted after a Muslim woman refused to take off her niqab in the dock in August 2013. Judge Peter Murphy would not accept a plea from the 21-year-old defendant because he said he could not be sure that the person in the dock was who she claimed to be. Several European countries seek to ban or impose restrictions on wearing the burqa. In 2010, France passed a law to ban the burqa. The European Court of Human Rights later upheld the prohibition, saying it accepted France's argument that it helped its citizens live together. In December 2016, German Chancellor Angela Merkel said the wearing of in Germany wherever it is legally possible. The Prime Minister yesterday called for him to apologize as he had obviously offended people with his choice of words. And other senior Tory figures today also rounded on the ex-cabinet minister, urging him to say sorry. Culture Secretary Jeremy Wright criticized the choice of words, telling the BBC Radio 4 Today programme, "I think we should all choose our language with care." While ex-Tory chairman Eric Pickles told the programme Mr. Johnson should not have used a liberal language, and added, "I think the sensible thing would be for him to apologize." Tory MP Brandon Lewis, the current Tory Party chairman, has also criticized the comments and said he has asked Mr. Johnson to apologize. But Mr. Johnson is showing no signs of U-turning and disowning his remarks. But a source close to Mr. Johnson said people should not fall into the trap of shutting down debate on difficult issues. "It is ridiculous that these views are being attacked," the source said, adding, "If we fail to speak up for liberal values, then we are simply yielding ground to reactionaries and extremists." Tory peer Baroness Warsi, the first Muslim woman to be a cabinet minister, has said the comments were offensive and amounted to dog whistle politics. She said, "I think it is not the first time that Boris has tried to make a leadership bid, and Boris was aware of the kind of impact these words would have. What I am really offended by is that Muslim women need to stop being a convenient political football to increase poll ratings amongst the Tory faithful. Muslim women should not be a useful political battleground for old Etonians. This has happened before. It is crass and it must be condemned by the leadership, right from the Prime Minister down." And she compared Mr. Johnson to Steve Bannon, the former Donald Trump advisor and founder of the right-wing website Breitbart. She said, "This is literally the kind of bigotry of Bannon and the tactics of Trump finding itself into now mainstream British politics." While Mohammed Amin, chairman of the Conservative Muslim Forum, has said the remarks were deplorable. But several Tory Brexiteers have rode in behind Mr. Johnson and insisted he has nothing to apologise for. Backbench Tory MP Andrew Bridgen spoke in support of his colleague, saying Mr. Johnson had found a light-hearted way to raise an important issue. He suggested to the BBC that the reaction to the column says a lot about internal Conservative Party politics. Conservative MP Nadine Dorries said Mr. Johnson didn't go far enough and called on the government to apologise. The former foreign secretary used his column to comment on Denmark's introduction of a burqa ban. The burqa is a full face covering that is associated with a conservative interpretation of Islam. It is not to be confused with the hijab, which leaves the face uncovered, or the niqab, which leaves the eyes exposed. In his Daily Telegraph article, Mr. Johnson said that he felt fully entitled to expect women who wear face coverings to take them off when talking to him at his MP surgery. He also said schools and universities are entitled to take the same approach if a pupil comes in looking like a bank robber. Mr. Johnson branded the burqa oppressive and said it is weird and bullying to expect people to cover their faces. He added that he could not find scriptural authority for the dress code in the Quran. And he said it is absolutely ridiculous that people should choose to go around looking like letterboxes.